Most people say they want love, stability, safety, a deep connection that lasts. But when it finally appears, they begin to pull away, pick fights, or lose interest, and they don't understand why. Psychology explains that self-sabotage in love is rarely random. It is protective. By the end of this, you will understand the hidden fear that drives people to damage healthy relationships, what happens in the brain when intimacy deepens, and how this pattern quietly repeats until it is made conscious. At the core of love sabotage is fear of vulnerability. Real intimacy requires exposure. It asks you to be seen without defenses. For many people, that level of visibility feels dangerous. When a relationship becomes serious, something shifts in the nervous system. The stakes feel higher. The potential loss feels heavier. The brain begins scanning for threats, not because the partner is unsafe, but because closeness itself feels risky. The amygdala, the brain's alarm center, activates when it detects emotional danger. If past experiences linked intimacy with rejection, betrayal, or abandonment, the brain stores that memory. When a new relationship starts to feel meaningful, those old emotional imprints resurface. And here is the dark part. The mind would rather destroy something good than risk being destroyed by it. Think about how this shows up in real life. Someone finally meets a caring partner. Things feel calm and supportive. Then suddenly they start criticizing small things. They question compatibility. They focus on flaws that never mattered before. On the surface, it looks like loss of attraction. Underneath, it is fear. Have you ever found yourself doubting a relationship more intensely right after it became serious? That is not coincidence. Commitment increases vulnerability. Vulnerability triggers stored fear. Another powerful driver of sabotage is identity. People develop a self-concept based on early experiences. If someone grew up feeling unworthy, overlooked, or inconsistent in receiving love, they may carry an unconscious belief: love does not last for me. When reality contradicts that belief, discomfort appears. A healthy relationship clashes with the internal narrative, and the brain prefers consistency over happiness. This is known as cognitive dissonance. When external experiences do not match internal beliefs, tension builds. One way to reduce that tension is growth. The other way is sabotage. Growth requires confronting painful beliefs. Sabotage restores familiarity. Consider someone who believes they are too much or not enough. When a partner shows steady affection, it feels confusing. Instead of absorbing the reassurance, they may test it. They withdraw to see if the partner chases. They create conflict to measure loyalty. These tests are rarely conscious. They are attempts to answer an old question: will you leave like the others? The tragedy is that repeated testing often pushes partners away, which then reinforces the original fear. The person thinks, "See, I knew it." The pattern strengthens. Here's a surprising insight. People often sabotage love not because they don't care, but because they care too much. The deeper attachment, the stronger the fear of loss. Love activates the brain's reward system. Dopamine rises, oxytocin strengthens bonding. But attachment also activates the pain centers associated with separation anxiety. The closer you feel, the more you have to lose. For someone who has experienced emotional instability, this closeness can feel overwhelming. Their nervous system equates intensity with danger, so they create distance to regulate themselves. Sometimes that distance appears as emotional withdrawal. Other times it looks like sudden independence. I just need space. I'm not ready. This feels too fast. Ask yourself something difficult. When things were going well in your past relationships, did you relax into it, or did you feel restless? That restlessness often signals unresolved fear. Another common reason people sabotage love is control. When you end something first, you control the pain. If you criticize, withdraw, or create conflict, you feel less exposed. You become the one choosing, not the one waiting to be chosen. Control reduces anxiety, but it also reduces connection. In some cases, people unconsciously recreate familiar emotional environments. If chaos was normal growing up, calm feels unfamiliar. The nervous system gravitates toward what it recognizes, not what is healthy. This explains why some individuals repeatedly choose partners who are emotionally unavailable. Availability feels foreign. Distance feels familiar. Notice the pattern. The sabotage is not about the partner. It is about regulating internal discomfort. Even small moments can trigger it. A partner expresses deep love. Instead of warmth, the receiver feels pressure. They respond with sarcasm or deflection. The compliment feels heavy. Why? Because accepting love requires believing you deserve it. Self-worth plays a central role here. When someone secretly doubts their value, consistent affection creates tension. It challenges the belief system. And challenging beliefs requires emotional work. So the mind takes a shortcut. It finds reasons to discredit the relationship. Maybe we're not compatible. Maybe I'm just not feeling it. These thoughts often appear when things are stable. The timing is not accidental. There's also fear of dependence. Deep love creates interdependence. Your mood can be affected by another person. Your future includes them. For someone who equates dependence with weakness, this feels threatening. Independence feels safe. Isolation feels predictable. But connection requires mutual reliance. Reflect for a moment. Do you equate needing someone with losing yourself? If so, intimacy may unconsciously feel like surrender. The brain's stress response plays a powerful role here. When emotional closeness increases, cortisol can rise if attachment feels insecure. The body interprets bonding as potential danger. Physical sensations of stress are misread as doubt. This is where confusion happens. Anxiety gets labeled as lack of love. Instead of recognizing fear, the mind creates stories about incompatibility. It feels logical, it feels rational, but beneath the reasoning is activation. Here's the pattern interrupt. What if the moment you feel most unsure is actually the moment you are closest to something meaningful? That possibility is uncomfortable. It suggests that the urge to run may not be about the other person at all. None of this means every relationship should be saved. Some relationships are unhealthy. But self-sabotage follows a specific pattern. It appears when things are good, not when they are clearly harmful. The key difference is whether the discomfort comes from red flags or from vulnerability. Learning to tell that difference requires slowing down your reaction. When the impulse to withdraw appears, pause. Ask what you are protecting yourself from. Rejection? Exposure? Loss of control? Awareness weakens automatic patterns. When you can name the fear, it loses some of its power. Healthy love often feels calmer than expected. It lacks dramatic highs and lows. For someone accustomed to emotional volatility, calm can feel empty. But calm is not emptiness, it's safety. Safety allows growth. It allows authenticity. It allows both people to be imperfect without constant threat. The dark reason people sabotage love is not cruelty. It's the fear of being fully seen and fully attached. It's the instinct to protect old wounds, even at the cost of present happiness. Understanding this reframes everything. Instead of asking, "Why do I ruin good things?" you begin asking, "What am I afraid will happen if this works?" That question opens a different path. Love requires courage, not dramatic gestures, not intensity, but the quiet courage to stay when vulnerability rises. If you recognize these patterns in yourself, do not respond with shame. Shame reinforces sabotage. Respond with curiosity. Curiosity creates space between fear and action. And if you see these patterns in someone else, remember that beneath withdrawal is often fear, not indifference. Real intimacy is not the absence of fear, it's the willingness to remain present despite it. Reflect on where fear may have shaped your past decisions. Consider what might change if you allowed stability to feel safe instead of suspicious. If this perspective resonated, share your thoughts below. Continue exploring the psychology behind connection and self-protection. Understanding your patterns is the first step toward building love that lasts.